Greetings, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of STO World. Tony here with you, and back here with Episode 9. And Episode 9 is going to be covering a few things. Number one, I'm going to explain to you the different weapon types and what their advantages and disadvantages are in combat, as well as go over my Fleet Defiant configuration. So, the Tactical Fleet Retrofit, I guess as you want to call it, the Tactical Escort Retrofit, which you can buy in the Z store, but you can also get the Fleet version. Now, I have the Fleet version from the Starbase, and wow, I just have to tell you this. It's my favorite ship in the game. And we're going to take a little tour. As you can see, the bridge. This is the Defiant interior. There is a little bit of a bug because when you board your bridge, at least for now, anybody that's in any stations, it shows them as blank, but when you leave the bridge, they are back where they are. So my officers that are in stations normally aren't appearing on here, but as you can see, it's a Defiant bridge. It's pretty cool. My Reman officer kind of chilling back there and going through everything. So we're going to go through the different weapon types. Now, we take a tour of the bridge, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you see, it looks like the Defiant from Deep Space Nine. And here's the thing. Part of the reason this is my favorite ship, number one, and before I go into this, just want to welcome you aboard. This is the USS Storm. That is the name of my Fleet Defiant Tactical Escort Retrofit, as you want to call it. And it's kind of going through the hallways, looking around. Anyway, it's the USS Storm. It's a great ship. It's my favorite ship in the game. One, because I'm a huge DS9 fan, and two, and this is just a sample cabin. I think we just went inside of here. That's right. And two, because I love the way the ship is set up. It's got some really cool stuff, and I am totally down with how this thing flows. So again, welcome back. It's great to see everybody here. Episode number 9. Weapon types as by request, and received a few in-game mails from people as well wanting this. Here is my office. Of course, since it's a Defiant class, I couldn't help but put the Cardassian trophy and Jemadar trophy. Kind of reminds me of the Dominion War. And yeah, you just kind of go through here and see what's happening. So then you go through here in this corridor and go to the engineering deck. Now, anyway, so the Fleet Defiant class is very good. We're going to go over the weapon types as I just stated. And I use different weapon types on different ships. I will go over which each one of these weapon types are. And what I mean by weapon types are... Oh, sickbay. The sickbay isn't that big. What is this? This is the Science Lab. Didn't know the Defiant even had one. And the ever-famous Mess Hall. Check it out. Transporter room. There is an engine room somewhere here. But weapon types, anyway, I mean, are like phasers, Tetrions, Anti-Proton, Disruptor. And I'm leaving one out. Oh, Polaron. Can't forget those. And then there's different weapons like phased Tetrion weapons and phased Polaron. And what is the other one? Something, I think, polarized disruptors, which I haven't used yet. And this is my floor trophy. Down here. I had to do the fire cave thing. Obviously Deep Space Nine themed. Get the Breen trophy up there. The Borg, since this ship is used in lots of STFs. And then of course an Undine or Species 8472 trophy. Then you got the Federation rifle. Wow, this looks to be it. Oh, there's the engine room. There we go. Alright. So anyhow, what we are going to go over, and going to be some really, really cool stuff what we're going to go over. Anyhow, weapon types and what their advantages and disadvantages are. Now, let me just tell everybody this once Okay? I love phasers because I'm a Federation cannon guy. However, I do deviate with some other weapon types. Not because I think, you know, I don't really have a preference, honestly. I mean, I like to use phasers because it's a Star Trek canon thing, but I don't mind using disruptors. I have a couple ships with Tetrion weapons. I got a couple ships with anti-protons and a few with Polaron. Mostly my Dominion ships have the Polaron weapons. And disruptors, actually, I don't have any disruptors except for the disruptors on the Gallery, I guess, if you want to count that. So, anyhow, back to the topic at hand. This is the Defiant. So this is what it looks like from the inside, and I will kind of go over the configuration that I have for this bad boy. As I kind of go back to the engine room. The engine room looks pretty cool. Anyway, by request, I've had a few people want to know what I use, and originally I wasn't going to do a show on this ship, but people were asking me because they see me in game a lot using this Defiant. So here you go. We're going to go over my configuration. Now, it's an STF ship mainly, so I am using mainly anti-Borg weapons, which are, like I said before, are not found in the game. And here you go. So this is the USS Storm Fleet Tactical Escort Retrofit, and that's what she looks like. She's got the veteran hull skin, and we'll take a look at her outside as far as space goes. So when you get the one from the Z store, you get these. They're phaser quad cannons, which scale as you level, obviously. And, you know, a lot of people don't like them. They don't quite have as many benefits as, say, the cannons do. I have them on there for nostalgic purposes. And they still do a pretty good amount of damage. So it's not like they're awful, because they're really not. But they aren't heavy cannons. But they still do a decent amount of damage. A quantum torpedo launcher, anti-Borg, obviously. Does some extra radiation damage to Borg non-player characters. And 2 sets of dual heavy cannons. I got a Mark 12 Mako set on this bad boy. I have a warp core. Hyperjection warp core helps out your weapon, your auxiliary power. I'm sorry, shield power. I'm sorry. And I got a couple phaser anti-Borg turrets in the back. And then I have, and now I have a couple escorts that I do this with. I'm soon to have a third escort that I'm going to do this with, because that escort will be the one that gets a Nukara set and the Tholian set with the mine launcher and stuff. But this plasma mine launcher is unbelievable. And what we're going to do later on, I'm going to show you a run on the Cure Space Elite with this ship, basically showing me how I'm guarding the Kang, and you'll see just how handy these mines come in. I like the mines because plasma weapons, and we'll discuss plasma weapons. I forgot to add that in there. There are plasma weapons as well. So plasma, Tetrion, anti-proton. You got disruptor, phaser, yada yada yada, Polaron. So plasma weapons are also awesome. So I do use plasma weapons on 2 ships, my Decure Vulcan science ships, and my Vulcan science ship, and my Steamrunner class escort, which you saw on a previous episode. So I got a couple hull platings here, you know, in ablative armor. Ablative armor, again, kind of a more nostalgic thing, but also for the plasma resistance when you're fighting the Borg. And you have a neutronium alloy for the kinetic and energy damage resistance. This is the cloaking device that, you know, basically comes with the retrofit. Every ship that I have gets one of these. Thank God they were free before you got to get them through the rep system. Field generator console for my shields, and then I got 3 phaser relays, a 0-point quantum chamber for my quantums, and I have this point defense system because it comes in handy quite a bit. In fact, when you're guarding the Kang if for whatever reason you goof up or you lag or something like that, this thing does a ton of damage. So that is part of the reason I have it on there. So anyhow, that is your configuration on this Defiant class, and we're going to leave the ship interior. Figured I would take everybody to a new spot. You know, normally I'm at K7, normally I'm at Earth Space Dock. Today, we're at Starbase 39 Sierra. A lot of people don't visit this space too often, simply because of the fact that, you know, when you're leveling your character you do, but you're never really here. I decided to take a visit, and this is my ship. Pretty cool stuff. I stole this front deflector appearance mod from the Sao Paulo ship you can buy in the store, the Z store. And once you buy it, you get the skin. And this is part of the skin. I kind of like the way that deflector works. And you can see proudly wearing the emblem of Battlefleet Olympus. Up top, you see the eagle with the Federation little Federation cluster down there, and then of course the USS Storm, NCC 93012. Probably the pride and joy of my small little fleet of ships. So, we're gonna take a little. We're gonna board Starbase 39 Sierra. I figured I would go ahead and we finally board this base. It's been so long since I've been here, actually. Been months. Personally, it looks pretty cool. I like it when they changed the appearance of this. It used to be a lot brighter, but now it's kind of got a little more of a green look, kind of like it should look. You know, it gives you that Romulan space vibe, but you go here, and yeah, pretty cool. But anyway, we're going to look at different weapon types. I'm going to go over to the ship selector. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. Well, maybe I am. Please, up the ship slot limit. I'm going to keep saying that every episode until they do it. Because I want to unpack all my Mirror Universe ships. The Ryzian Corvette when it comes up. And obviously, my last two Andorian ships I don't have set up. So, Ship Selections Officer. So we're going to look at weapons. Now let's talk about different types of phasers. Now you got different. Now weapons, you have cannons, beam arrays, dual beam banks. You have torpedo launchers, turrets, mine launchers, etc. There's a lot of stuff. To give you an example, if I just go to the rep store, so say if I go to, let's go to the Romulan store. You know, it goes to your beam arrays, which are these dual beam banks. You got your heavy cannons, your dual cannons, and I'm going by specific types, not energy types, but just types of weapons. Then obviously different types of torpedoes. So if I go to the D store, and you know, so you get different types of torpedoes. Anyway, you kind of get you got projectile weapons which do the kinetic damage than your other weapons as well. So if I go to projectile, different torpedoes. So you obviously got your mines. So there are different types of torpedoes. You got a tricobalt, chronoton, plasma torpedo, quantum torpedo, photon torpedo, transphasic. Okay? And then your mines obviously are in the same categories. Quantum mines, transphasic mines, etc., etc. Now let's kind of look at a ship. We'll start off with phasers and quantums. Now, quantum torpedoes, you get the most kinetic damage from. Period. Well, I take that back. Second most. because the tricobalt does more, but you can't destroy quantum. So the tricobalts are different. So let's exclude them for a second. So quantum torpedo launchers, your basic projectile launchers, these do the most damage, basically. And then you go to, say, transphasics, which what they do, they don't do as much damage, but what they do is they get 40% bonus shield generation or penetration. You have your plasma torpedo. I don't have one here to show you, but maybe I can go in the bank. So your plasma torpedoes, which are these bad boys here. Now, the great thing about these plasma torpedoes, they do extra plasma damage. Any plasma weapon does that. Tricobalts do a ton of kinetic damage. They knock back your target. Chronotons slow down your target. They do pretty good damage, but they significantly reduce the flight speed, etc., etc. Now let's talk about energy types, because you have energy types of weapons and different stuff going on. So we'll go here. Phasers. Now, what do phasers do? Every energy type has its own property. Now, here's the thing. Before I even get into that, whatever you do, don't be a rainbow guy. You know what a rainbow guy is? It's a guy that has one phaser beam bank, a tetryon beam bank, like a disruptor, and, well, you kind of get the difference. You want to use one weapon type that's powered by your consoles, as I explained in the ship configuration episode, which was episode 2 or 3. I don't remember now. Anyway, so let's look at some of the phasers. So phasers do pretty cool stuff. Now, phasers have a chance to disable a subsystem for 5 seconds. And they do pretty good damage. Go over here to Polaron weapons. Polaron weapons basically have a 2.5% chance of reducing all your power levels by minus 25. Pretty good stuff. Kind of go down the line here. Tetryons. Tetryons have a chance to what is it? Oh yeah, that's right. Reduce your shields greatly. And here's the thing. You'll notice some of the similarities between ground and space. There are some. So keep that in mind. But we're going to cover space for right now. Anyway, it helps reduce a ship's shields, basically. And then you have, of course, your Polarons. These are phased Polarons, actually. But they're pretty much the same. They just kind of look like purple phasers, I guess you want to say. Anti-protons. Now, anti-protons are great because you get more critical chances, severity, and critical severity bonuses with the anti-protons. They're good for that. Plasma. Now, plasma weapons are great because of the fact that, okay, they can cause a plasma fire on a ship and just keep causing damage, even when you're not shooting at somebody. So, say, for example, I launch a plasma torpedo, or I start shooting plasma beams or cannons at somebody. What ends up happening is there's a chance that the ship can catch on fire with plasma damage, and that damage can last for up to 15 seconds and ignore that ship's shields. Pretty cool stuff, in my opinion. And then disruptors. Well, I don't really use disruptors, but disruptors have a 2.5% chance of disabling one subsystem. So, take that if you need it. And I'm just looking at the spiral wave disruptors on the Cardassian ship. So there you have it. Those are the weapon types. Personally, it's all up to preference. But whatever you use, make sure that you use these types of consoles. For example, These disruptor induction coils help enhance the disruptors on the ship. Or as you saw, I had that quantum chamber console, which helps the damage of your quantum torpedoes. Pretty simple stuff. Pretty cool stuff. And there she wrote. So, sitting out here on Starbase 39 Sierra, you're going to see the Defiant Fleet retrofit in action here. Cure Space Elite. And I'm defending the Kang. I did have, now I will warn you, I did have one little mishap because I ran into a lot of server lag this week, as many of you people saw me complaining about. And even though the video doesn't show it, I get kind of sidetracked a little bit. And pretty much it. So, what is this? So look at this. I got a spammer. Look at this. Spammer trying to get me to give up account information for cheats on STO. Well, they could pretty much F off. There you go. That is what I think of you. Anyway, here you go. Cure Space Elite with my the Tactical Fleet Escort retrofit. And I'll tell you what, we'll be back. And you can check out me defending the Kang. So, here you go. Now I'm here doing the Cure Space Elite with a pretty good group. And I'm watching the Kang. Now this strategy is right, middle, left. And I'm an idiot here in the beginning because I keep forgetting it's the middle, right, middle, left strategy that many people use. So I kind of delay myself a little bit in the beginning. But here you can see this is what we're doing on the Cure Space Elite. You can see my Defiant in action, and you'll be able to see the mines, the plasma mines and stuff like that. So anyway, check it out. This is Cure Space Elite. Here you go.
access to the mystic zone. The sight, I cannot wait to cross the bridge. Faster than light, we travel in time to the world. Out of the night, into a vortex of fire. Time slips away as we plunge into unknown dimensions. I am displaying wretched my deep first decide. Will it take us where we want to be? Will it show us what we want to see?
Yeah, and just now finishing up, and you could see the RML. If you have good DPS and good players, you can complete it pretty quickly. Now, I've completed it, Cure Space Elite, with a group where we've blown everything up to get to the carrier in like 4 minutes, under 10 minutes at least. My record was 11 minutes left, and that's just kind of how it goes. So kind of sitting there, and we're here getting the last cube. So anyhow, that's basically how it goes, and you can kind of see how these scimitar ships are pretty cool too. I'm the only, I guess, true Federation starship here, although you do see an Andorian Escort, but basically it's all Romulans, and one of them is Romulans and maybe a Klingon here. But pretty much it's all non-regular standard issue Federation ships, so pretty cool stuff. But I love the new Romulan weapons, the singularities, and all that cool stuff. Plus, they got those advanced Romulan drones, like almost like Borg drones coming up. So that's always pretty cool. So anyhow, glad you guys watched the episode. Hopefully, you get a good feel of the Fleet Defiant or Fleet Tactical Escort Retrofit. And this is mine. It's one of my favorite ships, if not my favorite ship in the game. But you'll just kind of watch us annihilate the carrier, by the way, which is always cool. Normally, I would do kind of an instructional on this, but I believe I did that in a previous video. So here you go. You could check it out, and we're going to basically annihilate the carrier. Of course, I cloak really quick, and then come after and then kind of hit him. So here you go. Check it out. I don't know what the next episode is going to be about, but you know, rest assured it'll be about something. Something pretty cool. You know, many of you guys email me, send me messages, leave comments of what you guys want next, and I have not recorded the episode 10 yet, so it'll be one of those things where it is going to be something that's you know, going to be pretty cool. I thought about doing my ambassador, my fleet ambassador. I thought about doing the Odyssey pack, and you know, stuff like that. So anyway, this is the end. You know, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And again, I'll be back again with another episode. I am back. I am recording more of these now and getting to what I want to do. Also, might do, I'm going to do I have a lot of really cool stuff planned for the show, though. But anything you want to request, anything you want me to touch on in the game, I'd be happy to do so. But so with that, everybody have a good one. Thanks for watching. This has been STO World.
Chosen are closing.